Hello everybody. If you use a remote like this to control your AC units, you could replace it with a number of devices to make your AC control smart. Today I'm looking at 3 of these, all using infrared, a device with a built-in display, a battery powered option with no wires, and a hub that can also control your AC. This week on HomeKit News, the ZemiSmart infrared AC controllers with Matter. Welcome back everybody. We'll start with the first of these 3 devices I mentioned, and that's the Smart Matter IR Thermostat. This is a native Matter device using Matter over Wi-Fi, so no hub is needed, and it comes with a simple LCD display telling you the temperature and humidity. More on that device later. The second device looks very similar and is in many ways. This is the Smart Zigbee IR Bridge, although it's not a bridge in the standard sense. This is a Zigbee device and as such requires a hub. The third and final device is ZemiSmart's M1 Pro Matter Bridge, which has an IR blaster built in, but it actually does a lot more. Let's have a look at what each of these devices come with. And in the case of the IR thermostat, we get a small basic manual, a USB-A to USB-C cable to power the unit, although the cable comes with an integrated temperature and humidity sensor. The USB-C end plugs into the back of the device for power and sensor readings, of course. The device also comes with a magnetic stand that, due to its shape, allows the position of the thermostat to be adjusted like so. The manual itself guides you through the installation, which also includes initially adding it to the Toya Smart Life app, both for AC setup and initial Matter integration. Quickly onto the second of our 3 devices, and just like the thermostat, this comes with the same magnetic base. Other than the manual, there's nothing else, and even though this is battery powered, at the back there is a USB-C port for recharging the battery. This has no sensors built in, so this is essentially just an IR blaster, although as I'll explain later, this may be a redundant device from the outset. As it uses Zigbee, it does need a hub, which in this case is the M1 Pro, which once added to your Matter platform will expose this device as an AC controller once you've set it up in the Toya app. Getting the Matter over Wi-Fi thermostat to work with Apple Home does unfortunately require the Toya app initially. Once powered up and in pairing mode, the app should discover it so you can add it to your Wi-Fi network. Once that's done, it'll show the temperature and humidity levels, but you still need to copy an AC remote to this. This can be done via Quick Match, which gives you a list of compatible AC brands, or Learn Match, where you can teach it your remote controls individually. We have Hitachi units built into the ceilings here, but getting the right remote was quite easy, and once you've tested the remote, it responds correctly, so you're pretty much done. After naming it, it's now a case of getting it into Apple Home using Matter. In the settings page, select a Matter service, and a Matter code will be generated with a 5-minute window for pairing it to your Matter platform. Back in Apple Home, I select Add Accessory and select More Options, and from there you can see my IR thermostat is already discovered, so I select it and paste in the Matter code I had earlier. The procedure is just like adding any other compatible device, so once all the steps are complete, you can see it show up in the guest bedroom here. Going deeper, you can see the temperature dial and the modes currently set to off, so you also get heat and cool, but there's no auto, which you do see on some AC controllers. You can also see the current temperature reading of the sensor built into the power cable. I should note, however, that the humidity sensor doesn't seem to show up in Apple Home for some reason. Onto the second device now, and I've already added this to the ZemiSmart Matter Bridge, so as it's a Zigbee device, it automatically shows up in Apple Home as an AC controller. First thing to be aware of is that as this doesn't have a built-in temperature sensor, the user interface will only show the temperature you set it to. That's not such a big deal if you already have temperature sensors in your home, but it's worth mentioning. If we go back to the Matter thermostat, you can see the difference with the large number showing in blue to indicate the actual temperature and that it is in cooling mode, whilst the Zigbee model just shows the numbers in black. There are 2 issues you should be aware of, however. First of all, if you're familiar with these types of IR blasters, they only offer on and off control in Apple Home and other Matter platforms. There's not a lot ZemiSmart can do about that. The second more important issue is that whilst this IR bridge can control a multitude of different devices, currently only ACs and TVs are exposed to Apple Home, which is not normally the case. I asked ZemiSmart about this and they said they're working on an update, so we'll see if that comes to pass. For now, I'll test it with one of our TVs to show it does work. I've placed the blaster on a cupboard opposite the TV at a distance of about 3.5 meters or 11.5 feet. I have the TV in Apple Home now as an on-off switch, and so I can turn the TV on just by toggling that switch. The delay you see isn't so much the blaster itself, but the TV just being slow to turn on. It does work, but as previously stated, you only get the on-off control in Apple Home. Lastly, to ZemiSmart's M1 Pro Matter Bridge. In the box, you get the manual with a Matter code, the bridge itself of course, along with a few extras. The first of these is an Ethernet cable, and it should be stated that this can work both wired or wirelessly. There's also a USB-A to USB-C cable to power the device, and yes, there's no power brick provided, as standard these days. Then there's an aerial which is supposed to boost the bridge's Zigbee signal. What's interesting about the M1 Pro is that in addition to being a Zigbee hub and a Matter bridge, it's also a Matter controller and thread border router for the Toya ecosystem. Not only that, but it even contains the IR blaster that I've been alluding to. So this would be essentially comparable to Akara's Hub M3, for example. I've now added the M1 Pro to Apple Home, so at this time I now have all three devices set up as AC controllers. The first one is the Matter over Wi-Fi thermostat, which also shows the current temperature because of the built-in temperature and humidity sensors. We then have the battery-operated Zigbee IR blaster here, and of course the M1 Pro controlling my same AC unit, which, like the Zigbee offering, doesn't have a built-in temperature sensor. Finally, to the pros and cons in a slightly different format. So the IR thermostat uses Wi-Fi, but that also means it doesn't need a hub. It also contains the built-in sensors and the display. It can be placed almost anywhere, but only as long as it's within reach of a nearby outlet. It also only offers AC control. By contrast, the Zigbee IR bridge uses a rechargeable battery, so there are no cables to worry about, and therefore it can be placed pretty much anywhere, even without a nearby outlet. It can also control more than just ACs as well. It doesn't have built-in sensors, although that may not matter. However, as it uses Zigbee, it does need a hub, and whilst it can control more than just ACs, only ACs and TVs are currently exposed to Apple Home. The M1 Pro offers a built-in IR blaster, so that could negate the need for the Zigbee IR bridge and save you money. It's also a Matter controller and thread border router for the Toya ecosystem, so if you want low-cost Zigbee products, this may be the hub for you. However, like the Zigbee IR bridge, it only exposes AC and TV control to Apple Home at this time. The hub needs to be connected to power, and it would need to be in the same room as the AC if you want to control it that way, which restricts placement. It also can't currently join an existing Apple Thread network. So that's our look at 3 ZemiSmart devices to control your AC. Which of these suits your requirements, and is the lack of support for more than AC and TV an issue for you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and remember, if you've got any questions on this or any of my other videos, ask away and I'll always reply. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, show some love by giving it a like, share if you can, and do subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll end by leaving you with a quote from Winston Churchill.